So it's fascinating how the whole journey of awakening further happened for me in Turkey. So one night it was late night. I was just getting ready to go to sleep. I am a morning person. I am not a late night person. So like around 9, 10 o'clock at nighttime, my energy goes really down. So I go to bed. This was like around 10 o'clock. I was getting ready to go to bed. And I was just on my phone, I think looking for something. I forgot what I was looking for. And then I had my right hand kind of resting on top of my forehead. And then all of a sudden, I felt like my hand is like moving side to side, like twisting side to side. And it felt like I was not doing it. It was doing it itself. Something was doing that. So I kind of moved my hand and I shook it. I was like, what's wrong with my hand? And then I put it back on my forehead. So it happened again. It was just moving side to side, like twisting side to side, as if somebody's just moving it. So I kind of a little bit freaked out. So I removed my hand from my forehead. I switched. I put my left hand on my forehead. And then it happened, same thing to my left hand. I was like, oh my God, what's happening to me? And a clear message kind of dropped into my intuition, into the knowing. It was like something was telling me, get up, go into your office and write something down. It was the message was very, like, it was prompting me, but I was like, I wanted to do it. It wasn't like no hesitation, no doubt. It was just like nudging me. So I got out of my bedroom. I go to my office, the next room. I turn on the light. I sit on my desk. And then I wanted to write something. And then something was telling me to turn on the computer. So I turn on the computer. I go online. And it tells me to look up the book that probably 4 months earlier I had heard about that book through a podcast. The name of the book is Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak. Bringers of the Dawn by Barbara Marciniak. I had heard about that book, and then it was kind of a note to myself that I need to read this book. I need to come back. So at that moment in my office, sitting down, something was telling me to go look that book up online. So I look it up, and all of a sudden I'm looking at I wanted to purchase that book, but all of a sudden I'm looking at a PDF free download of that book for whatever reason somewhere. And then I go download it, and then something's telling me to go to specific pages. It wasn't from the beginning, it was somewhere in the middle, to go to this page. And then I go to that page, and then I start reading out loud, like about, I don't know, maybe 10 pages or so. And one of the first thing on that page, it's telling me to relinquish all control, to let go of the control, to surrender to divine, to surrender to God. And I don't have the exact specific wording right now, but I kept reading, and my energy was getting really high and elevated. Normally at that time, I would be tired, exhausted, go to sleep, but I kept on reading. And these messages, as I was reading this book, I was getting goosebumps all over my body. I was getting activated with certain codes that carried in that book with those codes. And so after like reading, I don't know, 10, 20 pages, then I close the computer. Then I go to online and I pull up this lady's YouTube, Activations with JJ. Now, this lady, for whatever reason, a few months earlier, I had came across online, and I had been doing a lot of activations and calibration with her light language. And I don't know how I came across her profile. And whatever she was saying, it was all resonating. And quite frankly, some of her stuff that she was saying, I did not even know what it meant. I didn't know what activations meant. I didn't know what calibration with light language meant. And she was bringing all these codes from Pleiadians, from Lemurians, from Lyrians, from all different star seeds that she was doing, from Mother Mary, the Rose um, lineage ceremonies, like all these things I was doing. I had no clue, but intuitively I was listening to all these meditations and I was doing stuff. So anyhow, something told me to go on her YouTube or Instagram, and then I see that she had this offering about if anyone wanted to become a practitioner specializing in multi-dimensional soul integration. Now, I did not even know what that meant. I did not even know what I was signing up. And I think her program was like something, I don't know, 1100, 1200. I didn't even think twice about the price. And I just signed up with her program right on that spot. Someone was guiding me to do all of this. I signed up, and then as soon as I was done, I felt like really tired and exhausted. And then I went back to bed. I went to sleep. Now, the next morning, when I woke up, as soon as I opened up my eyes, I saw a blue light in the corner of my room. Now, it was, as I opened my eyes, the light was leaving. And then I was like, oh, is there like a reflection of something from outside coming? And then the curtains were closed. Nothing was coming from the window. And then I was like, oh, I don't know what that was. Later, I discovered through my own intuitive knowing that I was being visited by one of the Pleiadians to get activated through my spiritual journey. Because I didn't see anything else. All I saw was like a blue light just leaving the room. Anyhow, I signed up with the program, and when the first day the program started, it was through Zoom online. Everybody start sharing why they were there. I had no clue why I was there. I just shared the story that this is the way it happened for me. I am not even aware why I'm here, but I'm here for this program. And it was just an amazing process that I went through that program. I connected deeply with JJ, and she was just an amazing, amazing guide that guided all of us in that program to get activated. And it was one of the first program as a multi-dimensional soul integrator to get certified as a practitioner to help a lot of other people do the same. Now, what does that mean as a multi-dimensional soul practitioner? Is that you integrate a lot of your soul aspect from different timelines. You call it past lifetime, or we call it parallel lifetimes. The experiences that you've gone through in those lifetimes, and you've gained the knowledge and the wisdom, and all you do is kind of really collect those soul aspects and bring it into this timeline that is now and integrate it so you become whole. It's pretty much looking at the puzzle and then putting all those pieces together so then it becomes a clear picture. So you become this sovereign being, this wholesome about you, and you, anything that ever God made you in your original essence, you're pretty much bringing those into wholeness. You're remembering who you are. And so you become, if you are an artist, then you start to really embody that. If you're a singer, if you are um, a teacher, if you are a healer, if you are a mother, if you are a scientist, if you are a writer, whatever you are, you really become whole by integrating the soul aspect. So that's what we did in that program, start integrating soul aspect. Definitely was a journey, a big, big journey. I had specifically a lot of ascension symptoms. What they call it is that, my soul was going through these ascension, elevation, and then my physical body was trying to catch up. So I had a lot of physical symptoms. I had these rashes throughout my body that lasted for 2, 3 months that I could not get rid of no matter what I did. Finally, what really worked was I had to take tree sap. They call it gund katira I think in Indian cultures. My dad brought that to me. And so it's pretty much a tree sap. And then I soaked it in water. I would drink it. And then that really got rid of all of my rashes finally. But it was a painful process. And I went through a lot of headaches, a lot of diarrhea, vomiting. You can name it, anything. I've gone through so much of physical symptoms, and it lasted almost more than, so I started that whole process February of 2024. I'm sorry, not February, April of 2024. And now we are in July 2025. So I am just at the tail end of it. So I may have just another week of some physical symptoms, but it lasted this long, and it was an amazing journey. I have no regrets whatsoever. I'm sure not everybody goes through the same process of physical, ascension or physical symptoms. Some people might just have minor headaches or just a lot of tiredness, a lot of physical fatigue. And physical fatigue is very common for a lot of people when they're going through ascension and awakening and integrating different soul aspects. So you might feel like you want to take a lot of naps, you feel really tired, which that happened to me a lot as well, which was so different for me because I've always been such an active body. For me, just to go to sleep, do nothing was kind of weird, but I really had to come to understand that I needed that in order to really integrate all of these soul aspects. Because what's happening is your DNA is changing. You're upgrading your DNA. So you need a lot of physical rest. I had to change the way I was eating, my diet. So everything had to change, especially traveling back to America to visit my family was really challenging because the food quality in America would not serve me well. I could not eat anywhere. I could not eat whatever they would cook. It had to be really wholesome, organic. I had to be really careful what I had put in my body. And, a lot of people give you a hard time about that too, that what's wrong with you? Why can't you eat everything that we eat? Anyhow, so it's a very sacred journey when you're going through ascension, when you're going through awakening. A lot of amazing, magical, and I would say a lot of miracles have happened through that whole process that has blown my mind away. But one thing that also came from all of this journey in terms of like really integrating was I came to a point that I had lived with my family, with my husband, my son, and my daughter in Turkey for 4 years. And I was just supposed to leave Turkey, and we were supposed to get guided to go to a different part of the world. And at that point, I could not understand why, because I was like, well, we're pretty happy. I love Turkey. I love the people, the culture, the food, the environment, the land, the music. I mean, I fell in love with Turkey, period. It felt like I fell in love. I kept telling my husband that it feels like I fell in love with someone, and that someone is that country. So it was really hard for me to come into terms that why do I have to leave? And sometimes, our mind tries to comprehend, but your soul and your intuition completely has a different message for you. And most of those messages are in the unknown. We don't know what's going to come up. We just have to trust the process. We have to trust the unfolding, which my mind always wants to step in and control the situation and know everything. But this was like completely the opposite, that you don't need to know everything. You just have to trust because you're being guided. And I remember we were in Shasta with a group of cousins and sisters. We went there, and that was an amazing journey. That was a whole different activation that happened in that group that we were all part of. There were 5 of us, and we came out of that journey, oh my God, just getting activated so in a so amazing way that it was like jaw dropping. Anyhow, in that event in Shasta, one of my cousins got activated to channel a higher being. And in that channeling, it was just amazing. And she tells me, my cousin, that so she started having messages for everybody, all like 4 of us in that group. And then for me, the message was, she was telling me that, that your mission, this was the message, that your mission is done in Turkey and you're supposed to leave. And when first she said it, because I already knew that that was happening, because I was feeling the energies, something happens beforehand. I feel it a few months earlier, but I was denying it. I was trying not to feel it because I did not want to leave Turkey. When she told me, I was like trying to like deny it and trying to like dismiss it. And then my sister goes, "Why are you dismissing this message? This is a very powerful message for you." And then at that moment, I start breaking down. I start really crying, and I cried hard. And I said, why do I have to leave? I'm just pretty happy there. I don't want to leave. And then the message came very strong that I went to Turkey for a specific mission. And I know what that mission was. I was supposed to go through this amazing awakening to really connect with my soul, connect with my mission, and to go through all this transformation. And now it was coming to a completion. And I wasn't supposed to stay there forever. We weren't supposed to stay there permanently. And then the time was coming into a completion. So I had to really take that to the heart. And from that trip, when I came back to Turkey, we had a family discussion, and my husband, my son, and my daughter, we all discussed, and I told them about the experience. And my son is very intuitive, and my husband is intuitive. So they all agreed and said the same thing, that they've been feeling that the trip, the whatever that we were supposed to do in Turkey came into completion, and they were feeling that we're about to move as well. Now, a lot of my other family members, it's hard for them to understand because we've moved around a lot, and they think we're just being hasty and we just feel whatever we want to do and start moving around. Most people don't understand that, I'm on a mission, I'm on a journey, and I serve God, and I serve the higher consciousness, I serve Mother Gaia. And so I do intuitively, I get guided what to do, where to be, how to be. And for some people, it's really hard for them to understand. So to work through those energies are not that easy also, because people judge you. They think you're just compulsive, that they might think, or you're just being careless. Anyhow, and then the next phase comes, that My husband usually and my son, they're really good with locations. So the location guidance come through them. And so they start talking about, I think the next location for us is Spain, southern part of Spain. And that's when we decided to complete our mission in Turkey and head on towards Spain, and to truly, truly trust that message. Because if you're a really highly intuitive being, you know that what's coming through you are the clear messages that you have to really listen to and you have to really live by. Remember that your soul is a sacred sanctuary, your heart a profound wisdom keeper, and your journey a divine unfolding.